In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the inner and outer bearings on this two-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma. When you do this job, make sure you have a new seal to go with it because we have to remove this in order to get to the bearings, and you always want to install a new seal. Let's get started. Let's remove the wheel. You can either use a thin wall 21mm socket or use a little pry bar screwdriver. Pull this cap off. Now you can use a regular size socket to get all the 5 21mm lug nuts off. With those off, remove the wheel. Now let's remove the caliper. I'm going to take it off as an assembly with the pads and everything and the bracket. Two 17mm bolts hold this onto the knuckle. Let's remove both. Before you fully remove this one, break the bottom one free so that it can still be attached. For this one, you might either need to do it by hand or with a swivel. Be careful of your brake hose so that you don't damage it. Pull this out. Take the caliper off, and I'm going to set it aside right over here. Now we have to remove this cap. You can either use some pliers and just grab it like this, or tap a chisel in there, but usually that bends it. So if you can get it with pliers, wiggle it back and forth, pop it off. Now let's remove the cotter pin. Straighten it out, push it through. I like to just grab it with some cutters. Use this to pry on and kind of pull it out. There we go. Discard this. Don't reuse the cotter pins. Remove this cap. I like to clean it out, inspect it, make sure it's still in good condition. Clean off the mounting nut area. And then I'm not going to remove anything just yet. What I like to do on these is I like to mark where it is located currently, and that is because I know that the adjustment on this bearing or on these bearings on the hub is done right. So I'd like to get it back to where it was, or at least have a reference point. That way I know how far off I am when I reinstall it. So what I'm going to do is take a punch and a hammer, and I'm just going to make a little mark here at the top. You can see there's a slit on the spline or on the spindle. I'm going to just make a line with my chisel. There we go. There we go. So that, I made myself a little arrow here. And at this point, usually you could just get it by hand, but sometimes you might need pliers. These should not be tight at all though. If they are tight, they are over tightened. Take this off. Now, there we go. Push this out. Get the this little spacer plate off, washer, and the outer bearing. Sometimes these get stuck just from the grease sticking to them. Take this off. The easiest way to get this seal off the back side is to put the nut back on, just a few threads, pull it, and there you have it. Remove the nut, and pull the bearing and the seal off. Personally, I like to clean everything down to bare metal here and remove all the old grease, especially right here where the seal goes. You want to inspect this surface and make sure that it is a good surface for the seal to seal on, and that you don't need to resurface it, sand it down, whatever you have to do. Basically, this seal is all that prevents the elements and water from getting into your bearings. So if it's not sealed right, first time you drive in the rain, you're going to get water in here, ruin your bearings. At this point, I'm going to also wipe off the old grease. I will reapply new grease when we reinstall, but I need to inspect everything, make sure the threads are good, make sure the spindle is not chewed up. Sometimes if you have a bad bearing, these get damaged, so then you need a new knuckle. It's important that all of this is as clean and as well maintained as it should be. This surface is a little bit pitted, so I will take a fine piece of sandpaper just to clean this up, but I'm not super worried about it. There is a ridge here that is clean, but if this whole area is rotted because you had a bad seal, you're going to need to address that. You don't need to get this perfect. Just need to clean it up if yours looks like this. Now we're going to have to scoop up all of this old grease. We're replacing everything, and I like to obviously start with new grease. You have to get this area cleaned up so we can, well, work. To punch out the old race, we're going to have to go through the inside here, and I don't want to have to fish through the grease for it. You don't have to get it perfectly clean, but just do your best. This is the end result. I can see the outer race, the inner race, they're ready to be punched out. Let's start with the outer race. Doesn't matter which one you start with, but they both have to be removed, obviously, for replacement. And there are 4 cutouts that you can use to punch it out. Use a punch and a hammer and just walk it around one side at a time. I prefer to go in a cross pattern, that way it doesn't get jammed at an angle there. Just drive it out all the way, it should come out the bottom. There it goes. Clean up the area. Make sure you get all the grease out so that you can see if there's any damage. This all looks really good. So we are ready to install the new race, obviously. Make sure it goes on the right way. If you put it on backwards, you can't put the bearing in. Use a bearing and seal driver or installer. If you don't have one, you could just use a socket that fits, a block of wood, whatever you have, but you want to make sure that you punch this down flat. If you use a punch, make sure you go side to side evenly. Don't drive it in at an angle, because not only will it get jammed in there, and you'll have a hard time removing it to straighten it out, but also it can damage the side of the knuckle or the hub here, and then you might cause some more severe damage by doing that. So I'm going to use this, and to start it, I'm just going to give it little taps to make sure that it stays nice and flat. That is perfect. It's going down straight. As soon as it starts going in, about a quarter to halfway, it will straighten itself out, and at that point, unless you really hammer it sideways, it's not going to go crooked anymore. Drive it down until it bottoms out. There you go. You heard the change in tone. That means it's completely bottomed out. This one's installed. Let's flip it over and do the same to the inner race. Okay, there it is. Let's do the same thing. Clean up the area, inspect it. There's a lot of debris along the side here. I'm going to try and not get it inside the hub, of course. You want to make sure that it stays nice and clean. Now let's install the new race on the inner bearing here. Change your bearing installer to the appropriate size, and same way, just tap it down. This one went in a little bit crooked, so to correct it before it gets too far, I'm going to use my punch. There we go. That's fully seated. I'm going to take a bunch of fresh grease, pack it in there. There's a lot of space inside this hub, and I want it all full of grease. This is going to be messy, but you kind of have to, because, well, you need this all greased up. We have to install the inner bearing before the seal goes on, because obviously that caps this off and we cannot install it afterwards. However, we do have to pack this bearing. You can use a bearing packer, which is this. If you don't have it, you can just put a glob of grease in a gloved hand. It's not great to touch that with your skin. And just do this, basically squish it into the roller bearings until it comes out the other side. It might take a little bit longer than the bearing packer, but if you don't have one, I've done it before. Because I have a bearing packer, I'm just going to use that. All right, there we go. Looks like our bearing is successfully packed. Now obviously if you do it by hand, this is not what it's going to look like. It's going to be a little bit more messy, but this is what we're aiming for here. Take the excess grease and lather it all over the outside. You want this thing covered in grease, otherwise they could go bad prematurely. There we go. Now take the freshly packed bearing, drop it right in here. Now we can install our seal. Let's install our brand new seal. Line it up, make sure it's facing the right way with the closed off end facing up and, well, the open side facing in. You could use the seal installer or just a rubber mallet or a block of wood, whatever you have, just make sure it's going down straight. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get these started just because they slide and pop out from the other side. Whatever you're doing, go slow so you don't damage it. Just make it nice and flush with the end here. That feels perfect all the way around, so seal is installed. The same way that you greased the other bearing, grease up this one as well. Apply some grease to the spindle. That way it's greased up, ready to go. Right here where the seal rides. That way it slips right on and seats itself properly. You don't need to overpack this. Now take your hub with the rotor, slide it all on. Make sure it seats itself all the way. Take the outer bearing, slide it in. There we go. This washer has a little notch, has to line up with the cut. Then I'll take the spindle nut, line it up. Since I have a mark on it, I'm just going to bring it close. Okay, did that. Now I can let go of it and the hub will stay on here. I'm going to just clean off the top of the nut here so I can see my mark. And then I will grab it with some pliers at this point. Now you can either use a socket or some pliers, and the way you want to adjust this hub is tighten it up a little extra. This is my mark here, that's the line. Tighten it up extra, make it snug. Give this a few spins. This is going to seat those bearings. Snug it up a little more. It should let you. The more they seat, the more you should be able to snug it up. Obviously we're not going to leave it like this. This would be over tightened, as you can see. It almost feels like there are brakes dragging. So at this point you'd want to release it until you feel that it is spinning freely with minimal resistance, but you don't want to loosen it too much to where it has a lot of play and it's just spinning like this. And if you can hear the wheel bearing like this, that's way too loose. You need to tighten that up to where they're quiet with minimal drag. So right about here, I can see my mark is here, the spline or the cutout is here, so I'm very close to how it was before, but you don't have to be spot on, you just have to feel it out. You can always readjust this if you believe that it's not right, but this should be good to go. Let's lock this in. If this doesn't line up with the hole for the cotter pin, just keep spinning it until it does. There we go. One of the slots will line up. These are all offset on purpose. Slide a new cotter pin through and bend it over to lock it in. When you bend it over, make sure it goes all the way so that the cap can fit over. Speaking of cap, take this, tap it on. Don't tap it too hard, you don't want to bend it. I'm going to clean the rotor now. You want to make sure that there are no fingerprints, oils, grease, whatever. Get it all off of there. You don't want anything contaminating the braking surface. Use brake parts cleaner and a clean rag. And do the same on the back side. There we go. Let's put the brake caliper back on with the pads. Make sure they stay together. Line up the bolt holes. Start in whichever bolts lines up first so you can let go. Okay. And start in the other one. Once they're both started in by hand, let's bottom them out. The torque for these is 80 foot-pounds. £80 foot-pounds. That's torqued. Got the wheel back on. Start on all 5 of your lug nuts, bottom them out in a cross pattern, and then also in a cross pattern, tighten them to 83 foot-pounds. Once again, 83 foot-pounds for all these lug nuts in a cross pattern. And if your truck had the center caps, go ahead and put these back on.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.